child custody. What I wanted to know from y'all, in the state of Alabama, do you have to have a reason or a probable cause to get a divorce? And it's a no fault. I believe Alabama is a no fault state. Not a no fault. You got to have a reason to get a divorce. But do you see Mr. Jeffries more children going with the mother than the father these days?
And Jim, let's break that up.
Yeah.
First of all, because I remember back in when I was a kid, we would watch TV and watch Perry Mason or whatever it was, and they'd say, "I want a divorce," and the other side would say, "I'm not giving you a divorce."
Yeah.
And then and I guess the judge decided back then, but now if you want a divorce, you can get a divorce.
That's
correct?
correct. That's
okay.
correct. Alabama is a no-fault divorce state, which means that you can simply have irreconcilable differences, and that's all it takes to get divorced. No judge is going to be sitting on the bench deciding whether or not your request for a divorce is sufficient enough. Now it's interesting that I believe Mississippi is still a fault-based state where they require some sort of particular reason to get divorced. But Alabama is not.
And basically, all you have to say is irreconcilable differences,
That's
correct?
Right. That's right.
And then
that's right.
But people typically don't list other reasons. I mean, I've seen it occasionally in some of the filings where they get more detailed about why they want a divorce.
You don't have to, but some lawyers, petitioners do that, thinking that it's a bigger impact if you do that. I guess I'm really not sure. I'm not sure that's
not
a
a strategy that you typically advise clients to go with.
I mean, I don't personally do it that way.
Just say, hey, I want a divorce.
There are some that do, yeah.
And his other question regarding, do you see mothers get custody more than fathers, or does it just depend?
I get this question all the time, Bob, and the issue is not whether it's the mother or the father that is going to get custody. It is the course of dealing, the customary actions of the parties leading up to the divorce that control things. If you go to work every day and your wife stays at home and takes care of the kids, then in the event of a divorce, it's going to be hard for the judge to do something different unless there's a really good reason to. Drug abuse or alcohol abuse or mental health issues, something like that. If the roles were reversed and you stayed at home with your kids and your wife went to work, then I would be telling you that you would be the one that would likely get custody of your children. So it's more how parties arrange to handle their day-to-day life than anything else. And then it just happens that most of the time it's the father going to work, mother staying at home.
Right. And a lot of times, and I actually, I used to work with a divorce lawyer who you actually worked with later.
That's right.
And he had a case, I remember one time, where the child was like 16 or 17 years old, and she definitely, she wanted to stay with daddy and not with mama. But the judge, basically a child of that age cannot make that decision, correct? The judge is going to do,
even at 16.
Or what age do they say, okay, we're going to take your word and we're going to go with what you want?
Alabama does not have a statute that requires a judge to do what a child wants to do or give more weight to what a child wants to do. They are they're a witness. They can be a witness just like anyone else. And if the judge believes that they are mature and intelligent and have good reasons for wanting to stay with one particular parent over the other, then that's something that the judge can take into account when they decide who's going to get custody.
And probably the older the better, or the older the more that the judge is going to take that. I mean, instead of 8 years old as opposed to 8 or 17 years old.
Maturity and intelligence and things like that definitely make a difference.